So you've heard about holster wedges, but you're really not sure if you need to pick one up for yourself or if it'll even help solve your comfort and or concealment problem. No problem. That's what this video is for. First, what does a wedge even do? A wedge acts as a fulcrum between your body and your holster. When it's placed properly, it will cause the top end of the gun to tip in closer to the body. A wedge can also help solve comfort-related problems like hot spots created by the muzzle end of the holster digging into the body. Okay, so should you get one then? The bottom line up front here is that most people will benefit from some amount of wedge use. However, if your pants fit tight in the groin area, i.e. you wear tight pants or even leggings, then a wedge may actually do more harm than it does good. With that said though, let's take a deep dive into determining whether or not you need a wedge in the first place, and if so, what size wedge you might need. Poke and check method. In order to get to the bottom of this, we're going to use a simple technique called the poke and check method. Once you've found your concealment sweet spot, see this video, put your gun on and make note of any printing or trouble spots. For example, right now the grip of my gun is printing. To do the poke and check, I push in on any areas of printing and observe what happens next. If I poke the gun like this, I can see that if I could just get the grip to rotate in more, I'd have better concealment. By using the poke and check method to move the gun, I can make the gun conform to the ideal spot on my body. Think of it like you're moving the gun freely in 3D space. Once you know where it needs to be, you can use 3 main tools to make it stay there: wings, wedges, and belt pressure. In this video, I'm gonna focus solely on wedges, so make sure to watch our full poke and check video to learn more about using wings and belt pressure to your advantage. Okay, now back to the poke and check. You can see that when I push my grip in, it reduces printing in that area. Make sure to take a look at the other effects it has too. When I push the grip in, the bottom of the gun goes out. There's a gap there between my body and the gun. Okay, now let's look at all of that in reverse. By controlling the position of the muzzle of my gun, I can change where the grip goes. So if the poke and check tells me I need more grip tuck, I can then place a muzzle wedge behind my gun to fill in that gap. Then when I tighten my belt, the belt pressure is sculpted around my wing and wedge to make my grip tuck more. So between belt pressure, wedges, and wings, we can remove pretty much any trouble spots that are causing the gun to print. Now, after all of that, you can probably start to see why performing the poke and check method on yourself can not only tell you whether or not you could benefit from wedge use, but it can also give you a pretty good idea for where you should start with both size and positioning of your wedge. And now we have to talk about the downside. Wedge use isn't for everybody. Even if you find that you can reduce both grip and rear sight printing with the use of a wedge, it is also entirely possible to create a totally new concealment problem, which is referred to as below the belt printing. Ask me how I know. A good rule of thumb is if you are already experiencing challenges with below the belt printing before adding a wedge, then the juice probably isn't worth a squeeze when it comes to wedges. Hopefully this video answered your question about whether or not wedge use is right for you. We have a whole host of concealment resources, from our library of content to our deep carry series, and even an AI concealment bot, which, mind you, he's actually pretty decent. If you have a comfort or concealment problem, we probably have a detailed resource available for you. And if you found this video helpful, but you still have more questions about wedges, I would suggest watching our wedge masterclass video linked up here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.